Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
And so here was the tweet in question from an individual who goes by the name R6. This individual wrote the following. Just sold all of my XRP because of Kendra Hill. And it's got a little teary emoji and then a wave goodbye emoji. And R6 wrote, "She's right. Bye, XRP community." And so I was like, I was like, well, that could be serious. Could be a joke. I don't know who this individual is. And so I was like, let's see if I can dig in a little bit. I'm just curious, piqued my interest. And so somebody from the community named Dam responded to R6 and wrote, "What did she post?" And again, somebody named Kendra Hill, don't know who the hell that is either. The name kind of caught my attention. It had shown up in my newsfeed from time to time. Didn't know who Kendra Hill was either, though. And so Dan asked, what did Kendra Hill post that caused you, R6, to sell all of your XRP? And R6 took a screen grab and shared that. I'm going to pull it up in just a second here. We're going to go ahead and break that bad boy down since there have been a couple people that had requested it. And I responded with one sentence after reading it because it was just a bunch of incoherent nonsense. And so I wrote, "This post is incoherent, so I can't tell if you're actually just joking." And there's an individual here. Here's one of the people that was asking, somebody named Coins Only Go Up, who responded to me where I was like, hey, this post is incoherent. And Coins Only Go Up wrote, "What makes it incoherent and why is she wrong? Genuine question, smiley face." And so look, I'm happy to share exactly why it don't make no damn sense. Because this is something that people actually read. In fact, Kendra Hill on Twitter has almost 10,000 followers. Here you go, 9,298. Apparently it's been dropping lately. And from what I read from people that follow Kendra Hill, and I'm not one of them, apparently Kendra had been writing a bunch of pro-XRP blogs for some time, and then out of nowhere she deleted all of them and then put up yesterday this one negative one, which I'm going to break down here. Now, thankfully, R6 responded to my tweet and wrote, "I was joking for selling, but yes, I agree this post is very incoherent." And so to be clear, I'm not telling anyone to buy or sell or hold anything. If you want to get out, I don't know your personal financial situation. I'm not going to go assume that I know better than you for your personal financial situation. I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell or hold. But I will tell you that this dumbass argument is completely incoherent, and it just had me laughing. So it's time to dig into this bad boy here right now. So I pulled it up on the actual blog, which was posted on Steemit, as you can see right here. 10,000 followers, my gosh. And it's weird too. So the reason that I remember it is because there's a picture of this person in the little profile, always facing away, not showing the face. So I don't even know if that's a real picture of the person. And then all the tweets are up for like a few hours, and then everything just gets deleted. So everything that's up, it's up there very temporarily, and then Kendra just deletes everything. And I remember I'd come across some bonker stuff. I wish I could remember the specifics, but over the last year in particular, now and then, that's the reason I knew the name, there are people that have responded to some bonker stuff that Kendra had said. I just can't remember what it was about. So not surprised that there's something here too. But it reads as follows, and it's on your screen. So let's just break this down. I haven't read this since yesterday, but upon reading it just once, my brain was like, oh my god, I can't even explain like the number of thoughts that popped up here. So let's just see what comes to mind as I read through it again. now that it should be fresh again. This is titled, XRP is not the one. All XRP arguments are based on the assumption that the world revolves around Ripple. Pause. No, absolutely 100% not. If you're talking about all arguments in support of XRP revolve around Ripple, that could not be more inaccurate. In fact, XRP was created by early Bitcoin developers, including David Schwartz, who is currently Ripple CTO. XRP was created by early Bitcoin developers. They didn't even know what it was going to be used for. They were just trying to make a better version of Bitcoin. That was it. It wasn't anything having to do with a cryptocurrency designed to be a bridge currency. Nothing of the sort. It's not the case that this was designed only for institutional purpose, institutional investors. It is not the case that it was designed in a way that it was not supposed to be friendly to retail investors. That's not true either. It was just supposed to be a better version of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is slow, it's energy inefficient, and transactions are costly. There are a lot of shortcomings of Bitcoin, and I'm a fan of Bitcoin. I've held it since November 2017. I'm not saying I don't have any sort of appreciation for Bitcoin, but it's not the best. It just isn't. But the idea that everything revolves around Ripple and Ripple's use case of XRP as a bridge currency just isn't true. And so you can think about any person that uses it for payroll or for their own personal expenses, or as a new form of web monetization, as Coil is doing with a blend of ILP and XRP to stream money in real time, or Forte in gaming. There's all sorts of reasons that people are fans of XRP. And as it pertains to payments, it's the best cryptocurrency on the planet for payments. And so, as far as idea of what it was going to be used for, when it was created at inception, David Schwartz has said, again, they didn't know, but they thought loosely something to do with payments, but they didn't know. They were really just creating a better version of Bitcoin. Anyway, this nonsense continues. So then Kendra wrote the following. XRP today is a short-term investment. The plan was never to let retail investors buy a share of the new financial system. XRP is a proof of concept. Bitch, don't you tell me that I can only hold XRP short-term. I'll tell you what. I have been holding XRP since November 17th, 2017. And, I'll tell you, given the fact that I've never sold a single XRP, I don't know, is this still short-term after over 4 years? What does it take to qualify as medium-term to long-term? There's all sorts of people that have held it longer than me. What do you mean a short-term investment? Those that have held it from the beginning, my gosh, when it started trading somewhere in the neighborhood of half a penny or less than that, given the fact that it ran to almost $4, and even today, as it's at whatever it is, 74 cents or whatever it is right now, I know crypto markets aren't looking too hot at the time of recording this, that's way more. That's freaking way more than what it was almost a decade ago. That don't make no damn sense. That's just some made-up nonsense right there. Proof of concept. Dude, XRP is a proof of concept. What are you talking about? It was just, again, built to be a better version of Bitcoin. That is it. Now, unfortunately, it gets even worse from here, so strap yourselves in, boys and girls. It's not gonna get pretty. Kendra then wrote, the XRP network will be forked to create a central bank digital currency network. Oh my god, this hurts the freaking brain. First of all, the XRP ledger, it actually has been forked at least 3 times. I made a video on this exact topic April of last year, and it's interesting. Most people actually don't know that. It's just not likely for the XRP ledger to be forked for multiple reasons, including the fact that there's an amendments process. So the fact that participants can easily vote via a structure that was coded into the XRP ledger from the beginning, the fact that that's an avenue makes it less likely that there are going to be forks. But yeah, there were a few forks, and they didn't get any sort of traction. My understanding is that all 3 of those forks have failed. And it doesn't matter, though. It's not like that's some sort of new threat to the XRP ledger specifically. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a brand new cryptocurrency built from scratch or a fork. It's still not the XRP ledger, and it still isn't liquid the world over. There's zero liquidity. It's on 0 exchanges when you start, so it doesn't really matter. Like, that's not a threat. But if you're talking about the XRP ledger being forked, and then a central bank, do you understand what a central bank is? Like, you're talking about a bank of a government, whether it's the United States government or pick your country. You're talking about the bank of an actual nation. That's what you're talking about. And you're saying that a nation, rather than making sure that they have a platform, if they're going to get into central bank digital currencies, rather than making sure that they have a platform that they can control, where they can roll back transactions or create additional currency if they are happy to, print into oblivion like the United States federal government. You're saying rather than that, they're going to have a decentralized network. They're going to fork off from that, and then that's going to be the starting point because reasons? That doesn't make any damn sense. And of course, Ripple knows this, which is why they announced in March of last year that they had created a private ledger version of the XRP ledger. And so it's a permissioned network. It's a completely separate blockchain, completely separate from the XRP ledger. And it's an attempt to persuade and encourage nations around the world to create their own central bank digital currencies, which is to say a new digital version of their existing fiat currency, whether it's the United States dollar or the Mexican peso or the pound, whatever it is. That's the push. And so that seems inevitable. I think that is going to happen ultimately, but that's the push. And so Ripple's there to help from a technical perspective and say, hey, here's a template. You can use this. It's really good for payments. So if you want to do that, go ahead. But there's no need. It would make no sense to fork the XRP ledger when you can just take a code, take a template, and start right there, especially since we already know that you don't want it to be decentralized. You do want those controls. So no, there's not going to be a fork of the XRP ledger that turns into a network, a central bank digital currency for an entire nation. That is Looney Tunes land stuff, folks. That is ridiculous. Is not happening. Kendra continues, and even from here, it does not get better, I assure you. Kendra then writes, retail investors will not own any coins on this network. Okay, let's expand upon that idea, because that's a concept which is important to understand. Compare XRP and how it's being positioned as a bridge currency by Ripple. One of the reasons that it's useful is because it eliminates many aspects of trust, where trust is necessary within the legacy financial system, especially in terms of developing banking relationships, so you can have the correspondent banking system within like SWIFT specifically. It's a chain of bilateral banking relationships. You can only have a relationship with so many financial institutions out there, not all of them, considering there are over 11,000 of them, right? And so, there's a reason that things are set up the way they are right now. So with XRP, at least with the asset that's being used as a bridge, you don't have to worry about counterparty risk. If it were the United States dollar, well, if the entity, the United States government, which has supreme control over it, if that goes downhill for any reason, well, you're left holding the bag at that point. And it's even more risky if you're talking about an exotic currency, obviously. If you're talking about a third world nation that's got their own fiat currency, okay, yeah, then it's even more risky. But if you're talking about XRP, which just has an open market price and it's not specifically backed by a risky underlying asset, that's where you're eliminating the trust of that. It's worth what people say it's worth, just like gold. Gold's not backed by anything. It's worth whatever the market says it is, right? Now, so when Kendra writes here, retail investors will not own any coins on this new network. Well, first of all, if you're saying that the new network is going to be a central bank digital currency, that could not make less sense possibly. It could not, because imagine that a central bank digital currency rolls out, and it's the United States dollar. Okay, so imagine if the United States created the United States dollar, but in central bank digital currency form, and then it's like, yeah, we're just going to keep it for ourselves. What the hell good would that do? It wouldn't help the nation. It wouldn't help, those in government at all. It wouldn't help the central bank itself. Does it just create this and say, okay, nobody gets you? It would literally do nothing. It would absolutely do nothing. Right? Retail investors wouldn't own the central bank digital currency. That's ridiculous. Now, if you're talking about a closed network where there's, for instance, a bank coin, like a JP Morgan coin, and I believe they're the ones that recently abandoned this project, but they were trying to create their own little walled garden, and they seem to have given up after all these years. It was either them or Goldman Sachs. Now I'm forgetting which it was. I made a video about it for some reason. I can't think of it. It was Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan coin. But anyway, within those networks, yeah, that's true. Like JP Morgan coin, it wouldn't be traded on an exchange, for example, because it's backed by the banks that participate within that closed walled garden, that ecosystem themselves. It's backed monetarily by them. So then in a situation like that, then you could have a network where you're not just, it's the coins are worth whatever it's backed by. It's not something that has an open market price. So when you're talking about something having a price, either has an open market price and then people speculated on it, determined via open markets what it's worth, which is the case for XRP, or you can have an asset that's backed by something and then it can be worth that. So it can be worth a fiat currency like the United States dollar. That's completely separate, right? So if it were JP Morgan coin, if that were to ever be developed, yeah, you wouldn't be owning JP Morgan coin. It would be used within a closed network, and the holders of it would be the banks participating, the financial institutions participating within that closed network. That's it. All right? Kendra continues. The coin on the new network will be the digital SDR backed by currencies / assets. It is, and its supply can be properly allocated. Okay. This is where it gets even more off the rails here. So, SDR is a real thing. Here's the IMF website, International Monetary Fund. And special drawing rights, or SDR for short, been around for decades and decades and decades. And it's basically, here you can see, they write right here, the SDR is an international reserve asset created by the IMF in 1969 to supplement its members' countries' official reserves. And it's actually backed by 5 currencies: the USD, the United States dollar, the euro, the Chinese renminbi, the Japanese yen, and the British pound sterling. So it's just an asset that's fabricated, and it's representative of those underlying assets. Kind of like conceptually not terribly different from the concept of having a stable coin that's backed by the United States dollar, or it could be backed by pick your fiat currency. So it's an asset, the SDR, that's backed by, in this case, a basket of currencies. And so then, where'd it go? Here we go. So it's, again, Kendra wrote, the coin on the new network will be the digital SDR backed by currencies / assets, and its supply can be properly allocated. Note right here, there's no evidence whatsoever to prove that this is the case. There's just a wild claim made with no evidence whatsoever. No supporting evidence, just a wild claim. And when I see this on social media, it grinds my gears, folks, because some people actually, like, they seem to be compelled by it. Like, what does this person know that I don't know? Especially if you're new to crypto, like, what does this person know with 10,000 followers that I, new to crypto, don't understand? Nothing. This person doesn't seem to understand a damn thing, frankly. And so the coins on the new network, and it's funny because, again, it was going to be what they said right here. This is why it's incoherent. It's one of the many reasons. The XRP network will be forked to create a central bank digital currency, but then they go on to state that it's actually going to be the SDR, a digital SDR. Well, mind you, the SDR is already digital. It's not a physical thing. So what do they mean? A digital, like, is in it's now on a blockchain, like a central bank digital currency would be? Not very clear. It doesn't even make sense. And then Kendra wrote, the digital SDR will be used as a decentralized exchange liquidity asset to settle transactions that use multiple central bank digital currencies / assets. Okay, so again, this is incoherent because, again, we just cited in the earlier part, the XRP network will be forked to create a central bank digital currency. Retail investors will not own any coins on this new network. So that's the new network. It's supposed to be a central bank digital currency, but then it switches to now it's an SDR. But it's a digital, the SDR is already digital, so it's a new version, a new digital version of the SDR. And then the idea that, again, wrote here, the digital SDR will be used as a decentralized exchange liquidity asset to settle transactions that use multiple central bank digital currencies / assets. Says who? You know, this is why it gets so frustrating when people don't understand the correspondent banking system, because, again, it's a chain of bilateral banking relationships. And think about this. If you want to move money to any corner of the world, there are over 11,000 financial institutions, and there aren't markets for every single asset out there, whether you want to convert from a fiat currency to a cryptocurrency, a fiat currency to another fiat currency to anything else that's tokenized. There aren't individual markets for all of these things. They're not supremely liquid. You're not going to have a relationship with every other financial institution on the planet. There are roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 countries on the planet with all sorts of different regulations. There's all sorts of different concerns regarding counterparty risk. And the idea that there's going to be a one-size-fits-all, in this case an SDR, that does have counterparty risk is absurd. This is the same, in this case, it's the same shortcoming whether you think that a central bank digital currency or a bank coin or a stable coin could do the same thing as XRP. No, it can't. And it has nothing to do with how it's coded. It has to do with whether or not it has an open market price or it has counterparty risk. In the case of XRP, it is decentralized and permissionless. It's taking out those concerns. If you're talking about SDR, you're not solving you're recreating the same friction with a different asset. That's all you're doing. If you're talking about plugging in this SDR, which is completely bonkers, that's not even the purpose of this. That's not even going to happen. It's just an absurd claim that's made. But even if I'm going to play ball and say that would happen, you're not solving the problem. You're not solving the trust issue. You don't even understand the core problem if you're saying something like that. And then Kendra wrote the following. Not only will it be backed by a basket of currencies / assets, but it will also have utility. Nothing RippleNet has to offer will be needed. And so again, this individual not understanding that one of the core problems here, one of the core pain points has to do explicitly with trust. And throwing in an asset that has counterparty risk doesn't remove that primary pain point. Ain't happening, my friend. Ain't happening. And then wrote, you will never own any SDR coins. Well, that's true. I definitely won't own any SDR coins. So at least you're wrapped up on that note. It's completely absurd and ridiculous. My gosh. So it's this is what I'm saying. Like, I read through it. It's such a short thing. To properly break this down, it actually takes a lot of time because there are so many ways that you have to go off and explain so many aspects of what's going on. Like, this person just wrote like these few short paragraphs, just an X number of sentences, and then it took me, how long did it take me? How long was this video going? Like over 20 minutes to break down this complete garbage? I mean, some of it was like setting up the video so that you knew what I was about to talk about, sure. So was it like 15 minutes of ripping this to shreds? And it just shows like these people, they can light these little fires, and then it takes somebody like me with my platform to come out, and it takes me like 15 minutes to put out just like a little fire if I'm going to do it properly and in detail.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.